Shout out to the Rational Male. Shout out to Rolo Tomasi because he's at least the one that I heard popularize the phrase kill to party. And one of the first examples of that is, if you're unfamiliar with the terminology, I'll just go ahead and explain it to everybody out there. Kill to party is a dynamic of shedding yourself. You don't necessarily need to kill, okay, the offspring in this situation, but it involves a young, early to mid-20s woman, okay, who is saddled with a child who thinks that it's some sort of a burden, tries to escape that obligation in order to go out there and party and live up the lifestyle. You might think that it's a little extreme, okay, but the person who this dynamic was named after is Casey Anthony. Okay, this was a story from way back in the cut. Like, this was what, late 2000s, early 2010s when all this stuff was going down, but she was a party girl. No doubt about that, okay? And then all of a sudden a tragic accident happened, and we'll get through the details of this one, but she had a young kid, and I think her daughter ended up going for an unsolicited swim out in the pool. She may or may not have caused that, but she ended up ultimately skating. Because again, you know, a big doe eyes, attractive woman with, you know, a large breast sitting in courtroom. You get a couple of simps that are out there and it's like, oh, she looks awfully sympathetic about the situation. Oh, we definitely can't let her face any more trauma in her life. She's already been through so much. And then not long after the trial ended up wrapping up, she was back out experiencing nightlife. You see this all the time, okay? Thought mommies out in the club, leaving the kid at home with mom and dad so they can go out there and party, or go out there for girls' night to find a new stepdad for the kid. It happens all the goddamn time. But let's give a little bit of background here before we get into the main event of the evening. Casey Anthony was the mother of Caylee Anthony, a young Florida girl who was found dead in 2008 after Casey was acquitted of her daughter's death in 2011. 10 years ago today, the time the article was written, there has been interest as to what the 35-year-old is doing with her life. Florida woman was accused of murdering her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee. Was the last seen alive on June 16th, 2008. The defense explained that Caylee drowned in the family pool sometime during the day, and that both Casey and George Anthony panicked when they found the body and covered up her death. The prosecution painted a different series of events, alleging that Casey used chloroform on her daughter and suffocated her by putting duct tape over the toddler's mouth and nose. Yeah, there could have been evidence for that, but who really knows? Like, this is a horrific story, and obviously, this was a long time ago. Like, I was 18 at this point, so this is one of those stories that has lingered throughout the years. Story first broke in July 15th, 2008, when Casey's mother, Cindy Anthony, frantically called police in Orlando, Florida, to report that she just learned that her granddaughter Caylee had been missing for 31 days. Yeah, I don't know where I left her. She'll turn around. Thinking that a 2-year-old is like fucking car keys. Casey first claimed that Caylee was with a sister named Zendaya Gonzalez, who turned out to be the first of many lies. Oh, a sitter, sorry, not a sister. Sorry, my mistake. In December 2008, Caylee's decomposed remains were found in a wooded area not far from the Anthony home. Holy fuck. Casey is allegedly, so where is Casey Anthony now? Because she ended up skating on all those charges, even though the decomposed remains of the kid was found in a wooded area. Remember, this kid was 2, and then it was proven, I think the autopsy ended up proving that she ended up, suffocating to death or drowning in the pool. Yeah, interesting. And then found in a shallow grave, huh? Yeah, no, exactly. Just natural causes. Yeah. Casey is allegedly trying to lead a normal life 10 years on from her not guilty verdict in South Florida. However, in May of 2021, she emerged into the spotlight once again after she was involved in a massive brawl. Drinks were reportedly thrown at O'Shea's Irish pub in West Palm Beach in Florida over the weekend after Casey brawled with a woman with whom it was claimed she shared an ex. Yeah. Exactly. Thinking that you might reform from this situation, you know what, realizing of the fragility of life, or maybe you could take the more simp position that, oh, she's just been totally turned off by kids. She doesn't want to go through that heartbreak ever again. So that she's out there at the pub at 35 years old. Maybe she's 36 right now. Fighting. Last call on a Wednesday. Oh, no, it's at least over the weekend. She has a little bit more dignity than that. Over the weekend, Casey brawled with a woman, who she claims shared an ex. According to the police report obtained by TMZ, Casey said the woman, identified as Thelma Moya, spilled the drink on her leg and things got out of hand. Yes, exactly. She's really tore up about this type of stuff. The report also states that Casey told officers that arguments were triggered Oh, was triggered by the fact that they both dated the same man at the time. Oh, still out there. Yeah, thotting it up, huh? And there was a long-standing feud between them. The outlets report that police explained to Casey how to file a restraining order, but she refused and simply wanted the incident documented. Moya was not arrested or even at the scene when the cops arrived. TMZ notes Casey was spotted at the same bar 2 years ago. She probably goes there a lot. Probably. March of 2020, a source told In Touch Weekly that Caylee is writing a detailed and definitive account of her life. Oh my god, when have we also seen that? Is she going to call it, well, if I did drown my kid? And the tragedy of losing Caylee and everything that followed. Yes, that'll be one of the pictures that's included right there, because she looks really shook up, guys. Can this get, this can get blown up a little bit? Terrific. No, it can't. God damn it. There you can see it. See, with a bunch of shit on the floor, she still has the picture that she can't really actually look at. And yeah, no, exactly. Like, she's attractive from afar. Like, she's kind of a basic white girl, let's be completely honest. But yeah, man, she seems to be keeping it together fairly well, but except for, cleaning up the messes on the floor. So to me, that's a red flag. But to others, maybe the whole kid killing thing is maybe just a bridge too far, right? But there she was sitting in the courtroom. I remember the pictures that were coming out during the day because what was that? Nancy Grace, she was trying to market herself off of Tot Mom or some shit like that. Okay, back when Nancy Grace was somewhat relevant. Okay, because she was trying to be as salacious as possible, making all of the different things that she was talking about pseudo trend or whatever the equivalent of it was at the time. But yeah, as you can see, as Casey Anthony's life progressed, was she really all that concerned about her kid? And the fact that she's waiting, 10 years later to write a autobiography about herself and, oh yeah, I lost my kid, a long time ago, and made me feel bad and all that type of stuff, not too worried about all that life that was snuffed out. Yeah, that was real sad and stuff, but it's all about me, though, and getting into bar fights in my mid-30s. Christ on fucking ice. But no, maybe that's just an isolated incident. Okay, yeah, that's just it. Okay, and that's the most extreme that you're gonna get out there. How about the blatant example of it right here? Yeah, no, you can't get more kill to party than this. Texas mom gets life for murder of bedridden daughter she left alone to go to party. Literally, kill to party. She's going away for a long old time. You'll love to see it. A Texas mom pleaded guilty to capital murder of the death of a 7-year-old bedridden daughter, whom she allegedly left home with their younger siblings. So she has multiple. Terrible. To go partying more than 2 years ago. Did she ever come back? Laura K. Dean pleaded guilty to murder on Wednesday and was sentenced to life in prison in connection to the death of her 7-year-old daughter, Jordan Barra, KTRK reported. Dean was also sentenced to an additional 20 years for 2 counts of abandonment and endangering a child. Why even? Well, this is Texas, so she could end up getting the old treatment. And anybody really care at this point? Well, when was the last time Texas actually executed a female inmate? I think that they just got rid of one guy who, I think set a kid on fire or something like that. That was a pretty despicable human being that just ended up getting yeeted. According to the criminal complaint, Dean had left 3 children, including 7-year-old girl who was bedridden due to medical conditions, home alone so she could go to a nearby Shades bar. Sound familiar? Yeah. Police in Bay City, located about 80 miles southwest of Houston, responded to conduct a welfare check at the family's apartment at approximately 2:36 p.m. on January 31st, 2020. The complaint said that the then 26-year-old Dean had returned home by then and invited law enforcement inside to show that her children were okay, but upon entering the apartment, officers located a deceased girl. Wouldn't you think that you would have cleaned that up at that point? 2 other siblings, a 5-year-old and a 3-month-old, were also living in the residence and removed from the home. Thank God. Dean was initially booked in Maricopa County Jail on 3 separate second-degree felony charges. That's it. The abandonment and endangerment of a child, placing them in imminent danger of bodily injury. The mother was later charged with capital murder of a person under the age of 10. KTRK reported that Barrera, who was diagnosed with Down syndrome and cerebral palsy, was non-communicative, required a feeding tube and round-the-clock care. Oof, that's fucking tough. Okay. Prosecutors said the girl died because her mother left the home to go partying. Bay City Tribune reported that Dean pleaded guilty to avoid trial and the possibility of the death penalty. So yeah, she's just gonna end up, hey man, she can go out there and party in all those women's prisons for the rest of her life, but it happens. Shit happens. Not all the time. Not all the time. Not to this degree, okay? Some women just want to go out there and I don't want to give up my career just because I have kids, okay? It's my body, my choice. That is peak feminism right there. That is what all of these women are fighting for. We're just as good, and single mothers can do it better, and they get all the help in the world. I'm sure she got all the fucking stipends. I'm sure the father was probably horrified if he was allowed into the life, but if she was out there thoughting it up, he probably just decided, hey man, if you won't let me see my kids, well, just fuck you then. That shit makes me sick to my stomach, okay? But hey man, somebody's got to talk about this stuff because these thought mommies, they're out there, man. There's a reason every single bar out there has ladies' night, and what is it, 40% of kids nowadays are just born to a single mother. The West is doomed. It's all thanks to women like this. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.